everyone? Welcome back to No Cap Space. A very happy MLK Day to everyone. A great day of hoops today as well. A stacked day. A day where we wrote one of the, maybe, how do I word this? Lesser exciting chapters of one of the most exciting rivalries in women's basketball, because UConn has put belt to ass. But also, Vanderbilt and Michigan ended up being an absolute heater, as was Ohio State and TCU. And also, shout out to Princeton and Harvard for giving us a banger of a game, too. So we have a lot of games to talk about. I have our UConn Glazer in chief with me, Greer, in the building. Before we dive into it, I'm just gonna you're gonna get it all ready. Get your UConn fan hat on and ready to go. Not that you ever would take it off, but get it ready, because before though, code NOCAP15. Link in the description below. 50% off your first purchase. Super chat gets you on screen. We got a lot of hoops to talk about. If you have a message that you want on the screen, a question, a comment, a concern, super chat gets it there. And of course, you become a YouTube member, whether it's joining here, becoming a YouTube member here. You can become a member of our Discord chat as well, which has been popping all day today, all weekend. The community continues to grow. It's been so much fun. The Discord chat just continues to get better by the day. So come be a part of it. You can do that through nocapspacewbb.com or becoming a YouTube member. Greer, this was a game that, like, in the first half, like, never really a worry for UConn, but it was like, okay, this is still like close-ish. And then the second half came and the belt was put. Just what are your takeaways generally before we dive into anything too specific here?
Sarah Strong is the best player.
Pretty good, yeah.
Pretty good. And B, UConn's depth. On a night where they don't even shoot the three like well at all. 6 for 24.
Mm-hmm.
Right? AZ goes 0 from 3.
Yeah.
And it does not matter. I don't know that we've had like that kind of win yet this season. So just super impressive all around. Every member of the starting five in double figures, right? Sarah Williams got things started early for UConn. Just a complete and utter dismantling. The points in the paint margin, incredible. There was really nothing a shorthanded Notre Dame team could do. UConn was really shooting themselves in the foot in the first half, right? With the turnovers. I think only had 3 turnovers in the second half. KK Arnold, I think also a player who probably, was taking that matchup personally today with Hannah Hidalgo, right? They're in the same class, right? They're both juniors, right? And had yet to beat Notre Dame as a UConn Husky. And she successfully led her team to a W today. Stellar performance by the junior point guard.
Yeah. What to you, in your eyes, was the difference between the first half and the second half? Because I don't disagree in the sense where it felt like again, Notre Dame was hanging around, but it didn't exactly feel like Notre Dame was like doing much to do that in comparison to like what UConn wasn't doing in that. Like, what is your takeaway between the difference in that?
I think they just made it a concerted effort to get it down low. I think they went 7 for 7 or something, like missed the first shot of the third quarter, I believe, and then made their next 7 or 8 shots. And a bulk of them came in the paint. So just running the half-court offense, making the right read, and getting an easy 2.
Yeah. No, this is again, I think to your point, a unique win for against at minimum against a notable like program in the way like with for UConn, where again, I mean, I don't know how many games you're gonna see this season where AZ goes 0 for 4. I wouldn't. I wouldn't.
5, no.
0 for 4 from 3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 0 for 4. I don't imagine there's gonna be many of those. I mean, still 7 of 13 on the game, so like still was efficient, But like, I don't imagine you're gonna be seeing many of those, and like for that to happen and it not matter, frankly, it didn't matter. Like there was no like moment of shakiness with for UConn, like with oh no, AZ's not hitting from 3. Like what do we? There was no moment of that. Like there was, and again, like they certainly have the talent to avoid having that shakiness, but you sometimes it's one of those things where it's like, when you have a team that is as dominant as UConn is right now, like I try and look for things like that where it's potentially a new experience for a team to go through and just see how they handle said experience. No worries, no problem at all. Like, like
I think you got to look at like Ashlyn Shade, 10 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. Like the other parts of the game, the intangibles are becoming such a huge part of her game. Right, had the laser pass assist to Blanca Quinones for the layup. You look at KK Arnold, who's shooting the three, was 1 of 3 today, but open. They're daring you to take it, you make it, and she's doing that consistently this year. AZ, the book has stupidly been, okay, yeah, you're a 3-point shooter. What else can you do? And what did she show today? Multiple plays where she puts it on the deck and scores the and one, the maybe even 2 and ones, but finishing with contact in the lane, and just creating her own shot, right? I think again, they just continue to answer questions. Kaylee Heckel off the bench, absolutely enormous, hitting 2 threes also, right? Who else? Blanca, actually a so-so game today, I thought, overall, but like still is going to be a matchup nightmare for most second units across the country. So there are tons of little things. I actually truly kind of hate the narrative about UConn blows everybody out, but if there's a game within a game, right, and that's what you're talking about, and a lot of players passed it tonight with flying colors.
No, I said this. I think Blanca probably the only one where I was like, ugh, just like when it comes to the performance, I'd say. But even then, like, I still want.
Not great.
Yeah, like you're over 5 for 3, 5 turnovers. Like, that's the only.
And you saw Gino getting on her too, right?
100%, 100. Yeah, like no one's surprised, But like 100%. And the thing is, I still left being like, where can I invest my Blanca stocks? Like I want, like, I think it's so obvious that she already is like producing. I think it's so obvious that she's just gonna be stupid good. Like it just is incredibly clear to me. I think as we get to transition a little bit over to the Notre Dame side, I obviously you have to start with Hannah Hidalgo, but I want to talk about UConn's defense at Hannah Hidalgo, because as every team is going to do for the rest of this season, already has been doing in a lot of ways, you got to try and stop Hannah Hidalgo, and you'll let literally anybody else try and beat you on this Notre Dame team that is less talented than we are accustomed to, just in terms of just sheer what is on the roster. Also short-handed. Like, I mean, so many factors point to, if you're going to lose to Notre Dame, it's going to be Hannah Hidalgo beating you. And UConn made it very, very clear from the very, very beginning that was not going to be the option today. Like, just, I mean, KK was a big part of that. And I mean, but you saw, I mean, there was somebody attached to Hannah at the hip the entire time. For all 40 minutes, it felt like there was somebody just chasing her, face guarding her. What did you get? I mean, you kind of mentioned the matchup between KK and Hannah. Kind of, I don't disagree in the idea of, like, if you're a UConn Husky and you haven't beat Notre Dame by your junior year, that is something to check off the resume. I mean, that is a big deal.
You saw the emotion with them going to the bench, right? Or even just KK on the and ones, right? The steal and scores. Like, this game meant a lot to them. And as far as the defense on Hannah goes, KK and AZ did phenomenal jobs, right? Hannah is a phenomenal player at her size, her command, even her poise, right? 2 assists, three turnovers, but like, as much as she's handling the ball, with like the limited options that you have to pass to, like, all things considered, pretty decent. But in terms of like UConn guards taking real pride when it's a one-on-one matchup, I think AZ in particular, who again, like, that's a part of her maturation process, and like what she's trying to hone before she goes to the next level is, A, I could take that matchup, and B, I can still do some damage on the other end too, right? I am a two-way player, and I think she continues to show that. Hannah Hidalgo, tough night, 1 for 6 from 3, just 5 of 15 from the field. She needs help,
Man, we're gonna get you out of there. Like, I mean, yeah, it's bad. I mean, and it's
38 minutes tonight, right? Like, there is no Notre Dame without Hannah is we wouldn't even be talking about. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It would be. Yeah, no, it would be bad. It'd be very, very bad. And like, it's tough for Notre Dame too, because generally speaking, you had the win against North Carolina where it was like, it's a big win against North Carolina, and like you could say what you want about the ACC and everything, and like there's rightfully so in terms of like the quality of the ACC. I think there's generally proper things to say and question about it, but like you had that win. And it was like, if there's going to be a turning point like that felt like a win where it was like, okay, that is your bigs performing well. I mean, like that was just a great win for Notre Dame. And then you immediately have Louisville and UConn next on the schedule. And whatever momentum that was building from that, or whatever you could take away from that, feels like it's immediately down the drain because you just you struggle. I mean, Louisville was a closer game than this one, but still like this one just to me just takes any aspect or sense or hint of wind in the sails to me. Just it's you're not going anywhere fast right now if you're Notre Dame, and I worry about what comes next. The schedule gets easier. I mean, obviously going from UConn to anyone else, but like you don't have another ranked opponent currently on your schedule until Louisville, which is the last game of the season, of the regular season for them. So like it gets easier, but the problems here aren't the opponents. It's Notre Dame, and I don't know. You're 2-4 right now, like in conference play. Like I don't know where Notre Dame ends up by the end of the state. I mean, this is a team that was just re-entered the rankings, dropped out like this just today with the fresh rankings. You're gonna win games because you have Hannah Hidalgo, but I don't know where that leaves them by the time we actually get to the end of the season. I don't know, man.
I don't know either. Don't really care. No, I'm just kidding. Don't really care. But no, I mean, I think still having Hannah, gives you a chance against most teams.
Yeah,
that's just the fact. And this is not going to be the last time we're talking about Hannah Hidalgo this year.
No.
I have a strange suspicion that she will do something else to make not necessarily this team relevant in any like big picture conversations, but Notre Dame, they have to know this is like a throwaway year, right? They've got one if not the best recruiting class coming in next year. It's crazy to think that we're going to have to like fast forward to talking about Hannah Hidalgo's senior year.
Crazy. Yeah.
It's
doesn't
life.
Feel real. Yeah.
Life comes at you fast as hell. But that's what it's about now for Notre Dame at this point. And obviously keeping her healthy, right? Keeping her healthy. And trying to figure out, what else they can add to lighten her load a little bit.
Yeah, and I think that's to kind of wrap on this game before we move on to the other great matchups from today. But like the Niele Ivy conversation, I think is a valid one. I think is a reasonable question to ask when it comes to the hot seat. I mean, when you look at this season, but also seasons past, like just with the March Madness and where they haven't been able to get to than where they have been able to get to, I think it's a valid question to ask. But as you mentioned, the recruiting has been top notch, and so I would be incredibly shocked to like not see her on the sideline next season. I don't think that's bless you. I don't think that's even like an actual dialogue happening there.
I don't think so either.
Now, after Hannah leaves, then like we're next season is the season to have some genuine something like results. You can sink your teeth into in some type of way, whether it's the young players really showing out and like, okay, you're ready to build off and like, sorry Hannah, we couldn't get it done for you, but like we got something here, or you get it done with Hannah and whatever you're able to try and get in the portal or whatever that looks like. This is not the season that is going to be the end of Niele Ivy at Notre Dame. It's just not. So it sucks and it's way below standard for Notre Dame. But this won't be the one that gets her, has her lose this opportunity to be the head coach of Notre Dame. So I think as again valid as those conversations are, I think the recruiting alone is enough that.
Yeah, Notre Dame made 1-3 today.
Not good
as a team.
Not good.
Quite awful. Yeah. Wow. So yeah, UConn's defense
Yeah, really good.
Also top 10
Yeah.
offense, top 10 defense. But this is what you want to be seeing from a team that, has the potential to go back to back. You want to see just a thorough dismantling of a rival, and also everyone in your starting five kind of getting it going and taking turns.
UConn fans, take your victory lap. It's still a rivalry game. It's still take the lap, because this is a pretty unique level of belt for
Certainly. Yeah, no, I mean, this has been one of the best rivalries in all of women's college basketball for quite some time. Let's throw tonight's game out the window. Definitely not indicative of like how hard this rivalry has been, dating back all the way to like the 90s, really.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we get it back to better levels of this.
I mean, they got to keep playing, right? Like keep scheduling each other. Hope nothing like that ever changes. But it is what it is. Notre Dame is down right now, but that's why they're the Fighting Irish. I expect them to come back.
Keep on fighting, Irish. Keep on fighting. Well, to go to some of these other games from today, because we had some bangers earlier. The Coretta Scott King Classic delivered two incredible games from New Jersey. We'll start off with the earlier one and work our way chronologically through the day here. Look, TCU, Ohio State. We were on live last night, and I had mentioned Ohio State being one of those teams where I'm like the middle ground of the Big Ten, like in the national rankings, like the teams and the teams and the Big Ten, your Iowas, Michigan States, Ohio States, like I feel like they were all kind of being under discussed about what potential damage, not necessarily as Final Four could, or national championship contenders, but just in terms of the damage they could potentially do. Immediately the day after that, Ohio State goes and gets a great win against TCU, where Delaney Cambridge did not have the game that we have grown accustomed to in terms of her offensive shooting production. She goes 7 of 22 for this game, still ends up with 18 points just on the basis of kind of keep shooting, frankly, more than anything. But I thought her impact today across the board, 8 assists, no turnovers, 2 steals. Like she found a way. This is one of the more the games where I think I left most impressed with her game individually in terms of just what she is as a player, where it's like, hey, we know you can get buckets. But this was a game where against a top 10 opponent where she went and won this game alongside other teammates that performed really well, like Chance Gray, for example, but impacted it without scoring against a top tier opponent. Leaving this game, Ohio State generally, like, what does your expectations change? Like, what is where are you at with Ohio State after they go and get this win against TCU?
Ohio State gives me PTSD. Sure. I think about that press, and I feel like that's kind of what they did today, right? Like held the TCU team who scores easily at will. 69 points. Suarez only has 2 points on the day.
Yeah.
Chance Gray, you mentioned. I think the other massive contribution was their big number 12. Forgive me, Lamila.
Yeah.
Who we've watched Ohio State several times this year and never mentioned her. Never noticed her. What a time to announce yourself.
Yeah.
Right.
It's been a steady gain for her.
Yeah. But also, like that changes the entire dynamic of an Ohio State team and like what they can be. Right. So it also just goes to show that like you can get better as the season goes on.
Yeah.
You can get better as the season goes on, and that's exactly what Ohio State has done. Chance Gray absolutely lit it up from 3 today.
Crazy.
And that's always been her game, but it's been inconsistent, right? And now, right, as the season, Ohio State is likely going to enter the top 10 next week.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. We're looking for other teams who could be a lock in like an Elite 8 situation, right? Yeah. And Ohio State, we always know that they're going to come with the defense that can do it. But now it's about, who else on offense can we get to step up in a somewhat consistent fashion? So I think unlocking a player like, Chance and Elsa is massive for them. Kylie Kitts also has been really good for them all season, was really quiet today, but has been that third contributor for them most of the season. So I like the balance that Ohio State is playing with right now, right? If everybody just knows it's Jelani, like that becomes guardable. At the end of the day, she's like 5'6", 5'7", like that becomes stoppable and predictable. And I just like the balance that they played with today, and I think that's a winning recipe for them moving forward.
Yeah, as you mentioned, I mean, the defense in this TCU just didn't know what to do with a lot of the ball pressure, and like they have like capable guards, you know. It's like I was kind of honestly a little shocked to see like just how much, you know, like it, because to me, like when I think about like past Ohio State teams, like this isn't like the top defensive Ohio State team in terms of like your one-on-one guard defenders. That's not what this team is in comparison to like some of the defenders like Celeste or, you know, whoever like in past years for Ohio State, where it's like, oh, that is a one-on-one true like DPOY conference, you know, contender right type of player. That they don't really have that to me this year, like in that way and in the way I picture it. So when I think about this press, it's not one that I think in comparison to those past years, I'm like, it's going to be like that same level of disruptiveness. It was today. And like through and through it was. And TCU really struggled with it. And I think something that's interesting to me across this entire matchup is I feel like both teams won the battles of the box score that they expected to win, where it's like TCU wins the rebounds, Ohio State really wins the turnovers. It's TCU had 20 turnovers to Ohio State's 10, while TCU out rebounds Ohio State by 10, 43-33. But I think to me, and to your point about having an emerging big with Ohio State, because again, obviously this has been a very guard heavy discussion when it comes to Ohio State over the course of the season, is that the rebounding. The leading rebounder was Olivia Miles. And don't get me wrong, a very, very good rebounder. But like it wasn't when you win the rebound battle in that way, it wasn't TCU in my head winning it in the way that you would expect them to dominate this game. Like if TCU was going to run this game up, like you would think it would be through their size that they have, because they have a ridiculous amount of it that Ohio State doesn't have just directly to match up with physically. But it wasn't that type of rebounding win, even though they do win the rebounding margin. Where Ohio State, them winning the turnover battle in that way, they won it in Ohio State way, in the way that if Ohio State was going to win this game, they did it in that way with the points off turnovers and all of those type of things. And so to me, like this was, to your point, an Ohio State win, but one of the more balanced big Ohio State wins I have seen in terms of being able to go inside and out in the past couple of years, frankly. But I'm very impressed with this.
It's one of the biggest like styles make fights examples that we can point to in women's college basketball. You know what Mark Campbell and TCU does with the pick and roll, spam you to death, right? And then what Kevin McGuff and the Buckeyes have just been known for, to your point, like they don't have that one defensive stopper, but the system works.
Sure. Yeah.
The system works. And when you're playing defense together on a string, yeah, you can do some damage and make those 11 rebounds, you can make that a non-factor.
Yeah, which again, it ends up being a close game in this one, but like I mean, and TCU led like this was a game that Ohio State like had to kind of claw their way back into a little bit. They didn't lead crazy, but like this was a game where TCU in the first half was able to. It felt like it might get wicked. Like it was kind of teetering on that, and Ohio State never let it get wicked, and eventually were able to fully make it with all their way back into this game. Again,
save their best quarter for the last one.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. And again, like this is a team that has been able to win games, but like to me, it felt like to a degree what happens when Cambridge doesn't have a good game. And again, she impacted this game in a whole lot of different ways outside of just the shooting percentage. But you had that game today, and you overcame it against the top 10 team. And so like that to me, on top of the balance, is what I'm leaving with, where it's like, okay, like there's other ways for Ohio State to win, not only with Cambridge dropping 40, but you could go and do your press and do the Ohio State thing, but also you have balance. I don't know if Ohio State has consistently had that level of variety in years past in terms of how they go about winning games. And so I'm leaving with that in mind going forward, in terms of when you think of the different styles, or you think about just the course of a game, who's hot, who's not. I'm leaving with more trust in Ohio State 100% than I had going into this one. And again, I was already kind of on the rise in terms of where I was thinking with Ohio State before it. So I'm leaving impressed.
The Big Ten, like if UCLA makes it out undefeated, Wow.
Oh, they'll earn it. Like it'll be well earned.
Yeah. If UCLA or Iowa, for that matter, who's still
Sure.
undefeated in the conference as well, like the very top of the Big Ten are going to be some really, really good teams.
Yeah, I'm that conference. I mean, the whole top 10 is about to be what UConn, I guess Louisville, and then the SEC and the Big Ten. I mean, like once we get these new rankings come out, obviously it's a little weird this week having the big games on Monday in this way. So we'll have to wait until next week to see how the
Back in my
refreshes.
day, this is how it went. Big Monday. Back in my day, this is how it went.
Yeah, so the AP, we're gonna have to have a refresh next week, and we'll certainly be reacting to that and how that goes. With TCU. Again, I've had this weird thing with TCU where it's like I'll watch them win games and like I'm still just like not completely sold, and like I couldn't tell if it was just like a me thing or where there was just something that I couldn't get over with TCU, and I still haven't frankly fully been able to pinpoint that. But like today, like it's still one of those things where it's like Olivia Miles did Olivia Miles things, nearly a triple double. Had some turnovers early, and it's like, and some of them were like Olivia Miles turnovers. Like it's the turnovers, and they count as turnovers, and like that's really the end of the discussion in terms of the game. But it's like with knowing her passing ability, like some of them, I'm like, you forced it, but like I understand why you think you could get it there, and so like there's almost a degree of grace I give for it, but ultimately you still turn the ball over, so like it counts. You're not putting a little asterisk by it in the box score, So I think we kind of got like the full experience with her, where she's spamming you're spamming the pick and roll a lot. You're getting rebounds again, almost a triple double in this. Didn't shoot it well from three, which has been an up and down thing over the course of her entire career. Obviously, had the big year last year, and it's been a little bit more of again up and down thing, a little less consistent this year. Am I wrong, or am I alone in feeling like TCU, like they're good, like they have talent? I just there's something missing here, and I don't know what it is. Where are you with them?
Talented team, obviously, no question. They have a lot of experience, and I thought that should have like paid more dividends today in today's matchup. Olivia Miles, like obviously the decision to transfer to TCU was an interesting one, right? In terms of, had never been past the Sweet 16 with Notre Dame, hoping to get farther with this TCU team, but has had like a really good statistical season. But I don't know that we're answering the questions about her game that we really need to going to the next level. We know that you're like a phenomenal college player, but part of that is like just winning when it gets tough.
Sure.
And I don't know that we've seen enough of that with Olivia Miles driving the boat.
Yeah, I don't. Like I said, it's just weird.
Like, where are the signature wins in her career right now?
I'll tell you, the one that came to mind immediately was the NC State away game with the overtimes that she had. That was one, like that was the very first one that came to mind. Like that's what I got. I mean, that's off the top of my head. That's what comes to mind. So I mean, yeah, it's again to your point. I think the point about you
got to get Marta Suarez going. You got to get her more than 2 points.
Yeah.
You've got to get her more than 2 points. Like that's just, we're talking about point guards, right? We're like, she's been your second best player all season long. And I don't even think it's been particularly close.
Yeah.
There's been some games where she's been their best player, actually.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, so just again, credit to Ohio State, but like those are the little parts of the game where it's like, who are you bringing along on this journey?
Yeah. And it was a struggle. Suarez 9 turnovers today is diabolical. That is not great. Super chat here from Joe, $2. Lack of athleticism is
for TCU as a whole. Yeah,
I definitely think so. Yeah. She also mentioned the Louisville game winner from her sophomore year as one of those moments, which I think is a great shout as well. Thank you for the super chat again. Super chat gets your message on the screen. Yeah.
Those are the days.
But yeah, to me, TCU, like it's I don't know, man. Something is off.
I don't want to overreact. On the
Yeah.
reality is they've only lost 2 games this
Sure.
year. Texas Tech, like in terms of Big 12 play, they're still going to be right there, right? But just in general, right? You're not valuing probably those Big 12 wins as much because when you go play a Big 10 opponent, like that is the result. You know what I'm saying? But again, this is still a team where I could see them definitely being in the Sweet 16. Elite 8 is questionable. But I think if you don't make the Elite 8, like that is a disappointment.
Sure. Yeah, I'm with you on that. Yeah, I don't know. And the thing is, going forward now, as you mentioned, the Big 12 is completely rocky. Just in terms of, I mean, like Iowa State isn't the team right now that you would expect them to be. They play them later in the season, so like if there was going to be a turnaround, it would probably have happened by the time that they played them. But like that's a big if. Your ranked opponents you have left right now, but with the current rankings, at Texas Tech, at Baylor, West Virginia at home, and then you play Baylor at home for the last game. So like still some games to like go and kind of just put belt, and like really prove it. But again, there's just
I think those teams are going to be just as hungry though. West
100%.
Virginia, we know.
Oh yeah,
can give anybody.
No, it's not an easy task by any means. Yeah. It is not an easy task, and again, like this is another team where it's like you got a couple of teams I feel like that are going to be in the teens right now of the rankings where you may have like one non-con win that was like solid, but like if you're they're still winning in conference play, so it's not
they fit that description. The only team that they've beaten was in number 10 NC State.
Yeah, who obviously again has hasn't panned out in that way. So like this, like obviously they it's not as crash and burn as some of the other teams. Like when you think about that that idea of the resume building right now, and they certainly still have opportunities for ranked wins as it just noted. But like I'm not.
We've seen a lot of flag programs like LSU, right, for their scheduling.
Yeah,
TCU certainly.
Same way. Yeah, and just in terms of resume, I'm thinking of teams like I mean Oklahoma, like their NC State's their best win as well. They played UCLA, but and lost.
Up on the Wolfpack, huh?
It's a damn shame. A damn shame. But shout out to them for not ducking smoke. Shout out to them for not ducking smoke. But yeah, again, I'm not pulling the fire alarm or anything like that on TCU, but in terms of trying to project ahead and thinking about where they might match up when they're playing against non-Big 12 teams, I'm a little hesitant to go. I think I'm with you where it's like I think Sweet 16, Elite 8 is the ceiling, but I also agree that if they don't make it there, you're looking at what would be a disappointing season internally and for what they probably expect them to be able to go and do, especially after last year when you were able to piece it together in that way. And I think you could argue on paper that this is a more talented roster than what they had last year. I think that they're like, if you were just to go player by player, I think you could make that argument. So I would expect that to be the expectation for them, is at minimum matching what they were able to do last year. But let's dive into this other game that was, I mean, there inside you there are two Michigan Wolverines. They have the first half and the second half, and that is what happened today. But Vandy stays undefeated in this one. On a game where it's like, when you look at the box score, if you told me Vanderbilt was going to beat Michigan, this is not the way I would expect you to get it done. Michaela Blakes only has 14 points in this game. Had foul trouble throughout
it. 14, like
I know.
It's not like we're so spoiled, chat. We're so spoiled.
The cruelty. How dare she?
Right.
But no, I mean, like, just the way this was a game where like it was that second half got shaky for Vanderbilt, but you get it done, and that is a big deal to be able to go and beat a Michigan team that, again, Michigan is. There's so many different, the two sides of Michigan that we've seen now in these big games where like you get down, but you also get back in it, and so like there's somewhere in between there, I guess, is what Michigan really is. And I don't really know exactly what to do with that. But from a Vanderbilt perspective, you beat up on the bad Michigan and you survived the good Michigan. And that means something, I think, especially given how you did it without Michaela Blakes really being, well, I don't want to say she's a non-factor, because that's not the case, but not the factor that we have grown accustomed to her being this season and in her career at Vanderbilt so far. How does this change your I guess with Vanderbilt? Like, what did you learn? I'll put it like that. What did you learn about Vanderbilt today given Michaela Blake's struggling but able to still pull it out versus Michigan.
I learned that Vanderbilt is actually like a much better team than I've been giving them credit for this season. They are more than just Michaela Blake's. Aubrey Galvin, the freshman point guard, a 4-star, mind you, right? Hell of a game today. Hell of a game, right? And just took shots when her team needed her to take shots and made half of them.
Yeah.
A gamer, right? Sasha Washington, just timely rebound after timely rebound. And she only finished with 6, but it felt like
that's surprising to me. I would have definitely assumed there was more.
All 6 of them were like needed in that moment. Yeah, I think that this team is just more than Michaela Blake's, and that's what they showed, and that's what you have to be if you want to be a top 5 team.
Yeah, I'm with you, Galvin. I'm telling you, I had the thought and I haven't been able to unthink it. That's Georgia Amore regen right there. That's the clone. I see it clearly. I see the vision. And today that's what it not the playmaking there yet, but the shot making. That's the vibe that it gave to me. Throughout the season, but especially in this game where she goes and I mean it's desperately needed in this game for Vanderbilt with the shot making that she had. Super chat here from Momo, $5. Thank you for the 5 again. Super chat gets your message on the screen. Vandy does not utilize their size. I don't disagree. I think they have size that I think normally, especially given like the shot making you have on the perimeter, like kind of the feasting off scraps to a degree, I think is like kind of.
I mean, Winantanda literally missed 2 point blank.
Yeah. So like, I'm not too mad at them. Like, it's not like a. God, I hate to throw the team under the bus.
So like, yes, or Passat. Sorry, she's tall, but she's a 3-point shooter. She shot 10 threes.
Yeah, today. It's just like a Reagan Beer situation where it's like, hate to do it.
Yeah, no, I mean, but I don't know that they have a true back to the basket, dump it down type big, right? They do have some size up front, but the size is more versatile. Even Winantanda shot a couple of threes today, right? So they have players that like to extend. Even Sasha Washington, I don't even know how tall she is, but she's their most like traditional big, but I would still consider her undersized. 6'2". Yeah, especially in the SEC, right? Sure. Where we get 6'7", 6'5". She's undersized. But they do play with a level of physicality, right? That makes it so that opposing teams just have to keep it honest, right? Yeah. And they showed that they can just gut it out, right? Against a Michigan team. Michigan, on the other hand.
Yeah, where are we at? I don't know.
I thought earlier this season their ceiling was like an Elite 8. But the more and more I watch them play, like they probably just kind of emerge onto the national scene a little bit sooner than they're ready for. Silas Wards, Olivia Olson, like great players, but I don't know that either one of them are like true 1As. I don't know that anyone's coming through that door to be a 1A. I thought Kendall Dudley played probably the best game of her college career to date. Wasn't a McDonald's All-American and things transferred from UCLA a season ago. But Michigan still needs like one other piece, right? I know I've talked about Ashley Solfakanik and like, was she a great mid-major player? Absolutely, transferred from Bucknell, but like is just going to be overmatched. Yeah. When it comes to the elite teams and the bigs that they put in there.
Yeah, I'm with you. Super chat here from my guy B-Mac. $5. Michigan is one athletic wing away from being dangerous. I think it's. I don't know if it's even necessarily a wing. They just need, to your point. I think they have like great connecting. Like they have elite connectors on offense. I don't know if they have a player that is the system in any type of way. And like you don't have to necessarily have one that is the system, But like it right now, like you don't have that in comparison to when you're going up against a team like Vanderbilt, or even though Blake's struggled, like you still have that and that threat of that that matters, you know. And so I don't disagree with you at all. Thank you, BMAC, for the 5 against Super Chat. Get some message on the screen. We got another one here from Joe, $2. Liv should be the 1A. I think she, yeah, I mean, yes. I think she is to a degree. I think, I mean, I think Sila has always kind of gotten, like, I think since the South Carolina, like, Sila's always shown up for the massive games. So, like, I think her name has rung more true in terms of, like, all right, Michigan's playing against Sila. You know?
I mean, like, I get, yes. Yeah. I do think I think Sila is more developed offensively than Olivia. Olivia is definitely more of a downhill player. She has to dribble, like she's not necessarily like a catch and shoot, where Sila can do both. She's a catch and shoot and can do stuff off the dribble. I just don't know that if you could have Olivia's aggression with Sila's skill, that would be the 1A player. They both have skills that the other one needs.
Yeah. No, I'm not. Yeah, again, it's just there's some like it just feels like they are a piece or two away. Like just pure, you know, like that. That's just the reality of it. Or whatever exactly that is. Thank you all for the super chats again. Super chats, get your message on the screen. Again for Michigan, like, and like we say this, and like the same thing with kind of with TCU as well. Like it's just a 3-point loss, you know. So it's like it's still like it's not like the world is ending by any means. But I can't get over now your 2 games against top 5 opponents. You get down massively and you work your way back. And there is something to be said about that part as well. The fact that in both of those games, you work your way back. Wasn't this the same exact score as the UConn game?
It was
like literally the same exact score, 72-69. It's like there is something to be said in that. Like there is pros within that in terms of being able to, hey, we went down and we've made our way back both times. But like, don't get down to begin with, you know. Like how do we get the runs going where it's not your back against the wall? And I don't know if we've fully been able to see that for Michigan against like really top tier teams when they've had the opportunity to, because they've had their chance to make statements. Obviously, the UConn one is the statement above all statements. But if you're the team that goes to hands Vanderbilt their first loss, like that matters, you know, and like that means something. And if you're able, even though I would personally deem a lot of Blake's struggles due to the foul trouble, just not being able to get any type of rhythm. But like, if you're the team that goes and beats Vanderbilt while holding Michaela Blakes to only 14 points, that means something. Like those things add up in terms of your expectations, and I think where you build on from here. So again, I can't shake the feeling of like, just don't get down, you know, like, and that's easier said than done, I guess. But like, just don't do that. And you're in a very, you know, like if you just do the second half, you know, not even necessarily you're playing at the second half level, but like if you just find a middle ground between the first and the second half for the first half, and then you go do the second half, you probably win this game by double digits, you know? And so it's obviously like the potential is there for Michigan, like to go and win big games. But it's different from last year where it felt like they were running out of gas in big games last year with when this core was even younger. This year it feels like they're there and they can't get over the hump now with it. And I don't know if it's just going to kind of take that moment to just get over the hump one time and then like it clicks or what, but it's weird that this is again, you go down, you claw your way back in it in the same way against your 2 top 5 teams. Not exactly the most confidence boosting way to go about having a close game against these big teams. And I can't shake the feeling of that, especially given how some of the other Big Ten teams are ramping up right now.
And the rest of their Big Ten season is tough.
Yeah.
They got Michigan State. Well, they got USC first of all coming to Ann Arbor, who, you know, beat Purdue the other night. But then Michigan State, Nebraska, UCLA, Michigan State again, Iowa, Ohio State, Maryland. So
that's a brutal your last 6 games are UCLA at Northwestern, then it's Michigan State at Iowa, at Ohio State, Maryland. That's brutal. that is a brutal way to end your season before you even get into postseason play. That's a postseason gauntlet right there. I mean, goodness. Yeah, I mean, again, like this is obviously still a young team, so it's like my expectations, and even like like before the UConn game, like there was no national conversation about Michigan, and so like
whatsoever.
I think the expectations obviously understandably rose after the UConn game, but it's okay for them to go back down as well. I think, like given what this core roster is and the youth, like in the youth of it and everything, it's okay to like kind of readjust maybe where we're thinking with Michigan, and but also again I think adjust where we are with Vanderbilt, because again this is a completely different way for them to go and win this game, and they do it and again in a very very resilient way. They have Auburn, and then they go play at South Carolina, and that is when the test
They
of
have
all
a game in between today and Thursday?
They do. Yeah, they have Auburn on the 22nd.
Oh, so okay, sorry.
Yeah, they have Auburn on the
Carolina's on
22nd and then
Sunday.
South Carolina on Sunday, which
Got
we
it.
will be
Okay.
live after that game. Let it be known now we will be here for that. Goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Michigan, I don't know what the ceiling for this team is anymore. You've had two really good opportunities on a national stage to knock off, top teams. Came up just a bit short. The rest of the Big Ten is a gauntlet. Right now, I feel like you're just hoping to host the first two rounds. If you're Michigan, you're just hoping that you make it out the Big Ten with enough wins to host in Ann Arbor for rounds 1 and 2.
Yeah. Our the other ranked team that was in action today, just to for sure give them at minimum a quick shout out. Princeton, who is, I mean, just continuing to build over the course of this year. I mean, you never want to see
in the Ivy League. Yeah,
you never want to see the Ivy team. Like that is you never want to see an Ivy League team, and against a Harvard team that is certainly going through a rebuild year. Due to Harmony Turner graduating, had some injury, like certainly a rebuild year for them, but just a team that is so incredibly well coached. Both these teams, realistically,
balanced,
well
right? Harvard, I mean, Princeton is incredibly balanced. You get Ashley, Sky, Fadima, like they are, and they're doing that pretty consistently, getting all of their starting five in double figure scoring. Probably going to run away with the Ivy League this year. Like Columbia is not the same team. Harvard's not the same team. But we have to now be wondering again, like we've seen how tiers have established in women's college basketball. Could Princeton work their way up to hosting, right?
Yeah.
And getting past or getting into the second and third round of the tournament.
Yeah, that'd be dope. But I mean, and like with the amount of movement and amount of upsets and things that we've seen, I said it in the AP poll video today that I dropped, and I do think, to your point, like the tiers establishing themselves across the poll, I think is going to, when you see teams lose, you're going to see a less harsh of a drop maybe than we were seeing earlier in the season, because I still think people will have these tiers in mind as you see that, because there's a couple of teams that could have been sent to hell in these rankings, and like I didn't feel like they only maybe went down 2 spots, where in the past rankings it would have been like 4 or 5 spots, and like when you're talking about the top 16, when you're talking about like 12 through 20, that difference in number matters a lot. And I think
I think Princeton is, when I'm thinking of like themes of this season of teams, like they have talent and they have team. Some schools have talent, but they're not like playing cohesively. You know what I mean? So yeah, you look at the very, very top of the poll, the UConns, the South Carolinas, the Texases, the UCLAs, they have both.
Yeah.
I think Princeton is also in that conversation. Obviously not the same level of talent, but they've got it.
Yeah.
They've got that same kind of recipe going for them too.
Yeah. So again, obviously, I mean, they're ranked 20, so it's not exactly a sleeper team, but don't sleep on, you should never, whoever the best team in the Ivy League is, you should always assume that they are incredibly dangerous, because they are. Like that is just a rule of thumb in women's basketball. Like just don't mess with the Ivy. Because whoever it is that is coming out of the Ivy in March is going to give you a run for your money. Like it just always seems to work out that way. And it's not a coincidence that it's always the Ivy League by any means. It's not easy at the top of there, but it does seem like they are. I mean, pretty easily going to run away with it. That's certainly what everything is kind of indicating. And if you told me that they make a push at top 16, again, they knowing the well, I mean, obviously the AP poll is not the top 16 that is separate from the NCAA, which we're about a month away or so, maybe a little bit under a month now from like that first top 16 reveal. So we'll see what they end up looking like. I
got win versus Georgia Tech, Villanova, Penn State, Rhode Island, DePaul, Seton Hall, Rutgers, right? Like they've got wins against teams that play in much better conferences than what the Ivy League is.
Yeah.
And a lot of those wins were convincing wins too.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to continue following them. But again, don't be shocked if you see them in the top 16, and don't be shocked if, or hell, even if they're like a 5 and go and get somebody.
Maybe get into the second week of the weekend of the NCAA tournament.
Don't be shocked. Don't be shocked. That's gonna do it for us after, again, just a great day of hoops. Tomorrow we'll have Unrivaled video coming your way, and then on Wednesday, as always, weekly, our Ball Up Top, our weekly women's basketball podcast coming your way, and then on Thursday, it's a pretty packed slate across the board. Kentucky, Tennessee, Iowa, Maryland, amongst some other games, USC, Michigan State, but Iowa have boots on the ground at South Carolina coming to the city of Norman. It's South Carolina, Oklahoma. Desperately need a bounce back win, do the Sooners. South Carolina, not probably very inclined to let that happen, to say the least. But I'll be there in person, press conferences, post game, all that. I'll be there in the city of Norman before we headed to, again, what is January is awesome. Another great weekend of basketball. So make sure you're subscribed here so you don't miss out on any of the content coming your way from us. Of course, also nocatspacewbb.com for all of our print and podcast content. Andrew just dropped his weekly column today, 5 out, with a whole bunch of stuff from Unrivaled, from WNBA, CBA negotiations to college basketball. It's all in there. You can find it on the website and the link in the description. And of course, one last mention of the Discord, because again, you become a YouTube member, you become a member on nocatspacewbb.com, and you get to come and join the Discord, and it's been a blast as we continue to grow that community. So come be a part of it. There's gonna be plenty of great hoops to discuss over the course of this week. Again, stay tapped in, be subscribed here, and on across all platforms, really, because you don't want to miss out on anything. So until next time, we'll talk to you very, very soon.